So Richard, 5 days to look forward to at Royal Ascot.
Can't wait.
Yeah, a meeting that you've done well at, which Hunter, of course, won there for you last year. But I think it's quite fair to say you go into this year's festival with some real solid chances. Highlighted, of course, by Rosalion, the Irish 2,000 Guineas winner. Who's looking out on us just over there. How's he come out the Guineas?
He's come out, been really happy with him. He obviously hasn't done any work, but he's just done his routine canters. He had a quiet 5 or 6 days afterwards out in the pen, and he looks brilliant. I was thrilled with both of them. I think he's going to go to the St James Palace Stakes. And Hatram, I think, is going to go to the Jersey at the moment. So he'd have a great chance in that.
So with regards to Rosalion, obviously that English 2,000 Guineas has worked out pretty well with City and Troy Gunn scoring in the Derby. You must go in there with some confidence, but how confident are you that you can reverse form with the Newmarket Guineas winner?
I think this track will suit us an awful lot more than Newmarket. We were having our first run of the season. He obviously improved for that big time, for that first run when he went to the Irish Guineas, and he will have come on again. Coming round a bend, quickening off a bend, you'll see, hopefully you will see him be potent. I hope, I can't think there's many horses around that can match him for a turn of foot over a mile, and swinging off that Ascot bend, just sitting comfortably, hopefully, and waiting to press the button. It's how I thought of it, and hopefully that's what happens. But there's no doubt Charlie's horse is an extremely good horse, and my eye was drawn to our horse in the Guineas, so that's really the only one I saw, and I thought, oh my God, this wins. And then afterwards, literally, couldn't believe he got beat the way he was travelling. But then went home, watched the replay. On the far side, you see Charlie's horse, Godolphin's horse, and my God, he travelled well. He never looked like getting beat, which is a huge worry. He's an extremely good horse, and I'd love to think we could beat him, but he looked pretty good in the Guineas. And I know we have a good horse, and they are two top-class horses. I'd love to think we could beat him.
But it's a tried and tested path that you've used with Barney Royal.
Yes,
of course,
exactly.
He was beaten in the Guineas. He didn't run in the Irish Guineas, but he came out and won the St.
Camford Cliffs did the same as well.
Yeah.
It comes at the right time for our horses generally at Ascot, and I think this horse is no exception to that.
So you're keen to keep him at a mile at this stage of the season?
I am. Horses like Knight of Thunder, Dick Turpin, Sky Lantern, loads of them, all Group 1 winners over a mile. I went a mile and a quarter with them. They didn't win. I just don't know why we get convinced into doing that when they are clearly doing nothing wrong over a mile. I have no temptation or no appetite for him going a mile and a quarter, unless Jacob Hay does, in which case that's different. But for me, he's an out-and-out miler, and he looked like he needed that mile at the Curragh.
And how much do you think he is ground dependent? Do you feel as he's getting older, he might just be able to handle a little bit more cut in the ground?
Well, to be honest, I still don't think that could explain that run, just the ground. He's by Blue Point, who's a Shamadal stallion. He should go on that, really, I think. But, hopefully it's nice fast ground all year and we don't have those worries. And that's why I'm slightly tempted to use him a little bit now, and then have a plan for him back end, maybe America, maybe speak to Shaker Bay where we go. But I don't think you'll see him turning up in the likes of the QE2 because of the ground factor.
Okay. Well, you touched there briefly on Hatram, so you're going to step him down in trip to 7 furlongs for the Jersey. Was that quite an easy decision to make, just primarily to keep them apart? Yeah.
He's an extremely good horse, and I've never known a horse get so much love for being second. He really has a massive fan club now, and I think he deserves it. He deserves his day in the sun, of which I hope he'll have many more. And coming back to 7 furlongs was an easy decision. It's not just Rosalion in the St James Palace Stakes there. You've got Notable Speech, amongst others. It's going to be red hot. And he's that far away, but he is that far away. So why not take the easy route? Ascot winners, whether they're Group 1s or not, they are Group 1s in stature and achievement and what it does for you and your owners and your business. Every race is a Group 1. I know that some of them are handicaps, but I don't see it like that. They're so important. Ascot winners, and I'd love to see him win one. I'd love to see me win one.
Of course, he made the running over in Ireland.
Yep.
So you step him back down and shit. So
you can do whatever you want on him. He's remote control. You come and have a sit on him one day. Yeah. He's an absolute gentleman. You could sit where you wanted in a race with him. And he doesn't pull. He's basically remote control, and he's a pleasure to have about.
It probably wasn't that a pleasurable derby for you. Let's talk a bit about Voyage.
No, I won it. Did you see that?
You did. Yeah.
I'm the only man to finish at the front of the field and not get paid. I've had so many messages. I must have a very special elite group of mates, all with their own piss-taking factor on a text message. I've got loads of them. I don't know what it's like to win a derby, but I certainly know you get a lot of attention for finishing at the front. It's a shame. He obviously had no chance. And as soon as the gates open, bang, your race is over. We didn't even get to find anything out about the horse, or his trip, or whether he would settle. I actually thought he settled lovely. He went round the world and met up with them. Met up with them, Hatram corner, and just hacking along, lovely ears pricked. I thought, he settled well anyway.
He's in the King Egg with the 7th.
Yes, and he's going to run.
Derby, yeah.
He's going to run. He had a nice canter round the other day. Second canter around Epsom I had, and hopefully we get a bit of luck at Royal Ascot. But it's a real shame for Julie, but my God, she took it like a sportsman. I mean, what can you say? What could you do? It was absolutely, you had to laugh at it. I know a lot of people don't find it funny. Everybody's all right, the horse is all right, Dobbsy's all right, Julie's okay, I'll get over it. But you look back and that is one race I will remember for the rest of my life. There's a lot of them I won't, and a lot of them I don't want to. And that one, I will remember.
And I know you said you've got to take it on the chin, but all the work that goes into it, getting them there primed for the day, and just to go wrong in a second.
Yeah, gates open, right, here we go, bang. It's definitely us, yes. Outside draw, our colours on the deck, yeah. Awful, but, talking to Julie afterwards, she likes to take the saddle cloth. Ryan Moore came up and gave her a hug. Some lovely moments. You see the best in people and the best in the sport when things like that happen. We are a very close community, and I thought that was lovely of Ryan to do that. And then Julie's got loads of text messages, and you have to see the light side of it, and that's the business we're in, and says a lot about it, and all of it good. Yeah. Apart from, well, actually, Anthem, but everybody's okay. So
you said, he handles the track. He ran twice on there, so he'd go back for the coronation next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy.
With a jockey, maybe, or not?
Well, we'll see how you get on. maybe I could ride him.
Yeah, okay.
One horse that did get round and got round in front was Persica.
Yeah, good horse.
In the handicap. He's a very progressive sort.
I did joke that we should be running.
Options for him.
They said, where are you going to go next after the race? I said, we're going to turn him out in an hour and a half. In the big one.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with him. I thought he was very unlucky at Newbury the last time, and he really is a progressive horse. He's a little bit fragile mentally, but he's a very good horse, and he is only on the way to what he's going to be, hopefully.
So we've got the Royal Hunt Cup, Britannia.
Yeah.
Well, what about the Golden Gates Handicap?
Well,
I'm looking at that.
Yeah, I think the handicaps might be out of it now. All depends what the handicapper does tomorrow. But we'll wait and see. There are group races there for him as well, and I have a feeling he was a group race hiding in the handicap anyway. But he did have everything his way on Saturday. Sean gave him a lovely ride. Something got a bit of daylight up his inside. I thought, that'll come and get us. And going by the line, he's actually won like 2.5, 3 lengths. It's very impressive.
So at the moment, you just going to see what the handicapper does.
Yeah, I think we'll probably stick to 1.25 miles. But Martin Hughes, who owns him, and Michael Cardenine will have a chat. Probably a couple of days when everybody's had a think about it. Sean wanted to go to the Britannia. He thought he'd have an extremely good chance in that. that would be coming back to a mile. But he thinks he has the speed, but it just depends on his, which way his mark goes. We know what way it's going to go, but we just don't know how much.
Just a quick mention on 2 horses that ran at the weekend, whilst we're talking about the 3 roads, Sam Hawkins and a Ram.
Yeah, so a little bit disappointed in both, really. A Ram, I think, needs to come back to 6, maybe even 5, loads of speed, and he just didn't stay. That was a hot race, 40 grand novice, nice race. So you'll get lots more action out of him when he goes back to 6 furlongs. Again, that was his 3rd run, so we'll see what mark he gets, but I think he's a very talented horse, and the ground might have been a little tacky for him. Sam Hawkins, he kind of looked like he didn't stay. But still, that was quite a competitive race as well. So it should be for a 50 grand handicap. But I thought he'd run a lot better, and he just dropped away a little bit tamely late on. And whether it's weakness or whether he didn't get the trip or whether he's just not good enough, time will tell. But I've always thought quite a lot of him, and I expected a little more, I've got to be honest.
Okay. We saw Blue Lemons run up at Haydock, ran well, stayed on nicely.
Yeah, he just didn't have the revs high enough, did he?
And you looking at stepping up in trip?
Yeah, he again is in the Britannia and will make entries over 1.25 miles as well. And, that track didn't really suit him. At Ascot, they go flat out in every race. You'll see the best of him there. He'd be worth a few quid in whatever race he runs in.
Okay, so the Britannia, all the Golden Gates for him.
Yeah.
Star Style, she's in the Coronation Stakes. Are you looking at that, or the Hampton Court?
I would say she's more likely to go smaller. I'm not sure we can run her in the handicaps. Even she's got a rating. I think you have to have had 3 runs to run in these heritage handicaps. So discuss it with Julie, but I'm not sure if Ascot's a place for her anyway. She just wants to go small, go and do her job, get her confidence back, relax.
What were your thoughts on her running?
It was all over. She was a bit keen, moving lovely early on, and then from the 6 to the 5, she's doing too much. Dobsy tried to take her back, and when he did that, she took more of a hold and was travelling. She was moving more exuberantly, and I just thought she's doing way too much, and that showed later on because she was legless when she finished. But she's a good filly, and we might have to come back and trip as well. Take our time with her because she's a lovely big filly. It's not necessarily about this year. I know clearly it is, but I mean, whether Ascot's the right place for her now, I don't know yet.
Okay, and Serene Seraph?
Serene Seraph won't go. She's having she's just going to have a nice quiet time. She's not going to go there. She wasn't right when she came back last time, and so we'll just give her a break. She's a funny fish anyway. She can pull a bit, and mentally she just needs to cool the jets.
On to 2 roads now, Richard. This is sort of a division where you tend to shine, do really well. Although we have had a couple of near misses in the Coventry.
Too many, loads. I've been second in it 6 times.
But you've got the actor this year. Is he going to be going for the Coventry?
Yeah, he's going to be in the Norfolk and the Coventry. Pretty good horse, I think. And I think he only just does enough. He's been working super. He's a real little dinger of a 2-year-old. And he'll go to one of those and have a good chance. Probably my best chance of the 2-year-olds is him. I've got Hawaiian. You can put a line through that race at Sandown, the National Stakes. There's soft ground that night, and he didn't handle it at all. His stride was that long, and we won't make that mistake with him again. I thought he might like it, but he's not. He's quite a small horse, so we'll avoid soft ground. And you didn't see the best of him, so forget that. He'll probably go, I would think, 5. But they'll both be in both races, and we'll make our mind up near the time. Nice filly, Xantha, Julie Woods. She was the only filly in the conditions race at Ascot about 3 weeks ago. And she won it. She won well. They're a long way clear of the 3rd. She's going to go to the Queen Mary. She'd have a good chance. She's starting to look extremely well. She's banged there in her coat now, and she's relaxed a bit more, and she has a bit of an air about her, which you've seen her grown up from that run. She'd have a good chance. A lot of these horses, it can be the ruination of them, Ascot. And you go there with what you think is a half chance. If you think you've got half a chance, you have no chance. If you think you're a certainty, you might be 5th. Is what I've learned. There's no point going there thinking, oh, we won our last race, and you never know, he could run well. No. Waste of a run.
Yeah.
and sometimes a waste of a 2-year-old because they're hard to get back. You know, they go flat out. I don't know why it affects some of them so much, and not in a good way. So I'd much rather just have few 2-year-old runners and leave the others for after Ascot. And if we look back and say, oh, we would have won at Ascot, I'd be very happy with that.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something, rather than going, if we hadn't run at Ascot, we'd have won this, or, you know, he could have been so much more. I've learned from that, and no point going there unless you think you have to be a specific Ascot, you know, like being, you know, you have to be a specific make, model and attitude and to go there and cope with it.
In what sense? What do you have to see them to feel they could cope with Ascot?
You know, mentally they need to be able to deal with it. It's such a hard race for them. They're flat out, and you think they go fast in every 2-year-old race all season, but Ascot, some reason, is different, and it's a hard race on them, any horse, especially 2-year-olds. And you know, you need to be careful what you take there, I feel.
On to the older horses. Let's kick off with Should Have Been a Ring, who's in the QE2 Jubilee Stakes. I mean, if any horse deserves a grade 1, it's him, isn't it? Yeah,
it's Group 1. We're not, it's just flat racing, just, yeah, you're not on Nickies, okay? So, yes, Should Have Been a Ring. I think the last one might have come a little bit soon, and we were just stuck on the wing a little bit. The better the race, the better he runs, and he was desperately unlucky not to win the Duke of York. Yeah, he could show up and run a massive race, and he is going to Ascot. That has been the plan from a while back. So he is definitely going. And another nice horse, Talus of Volvaire, belongs to me and Charlie Austin. I got half share. If anyone wants to.
He's been a revelation, hasn't he, really?
He has not run a bad race all year. He ran another super race the other day at Newbury. He'll go to the Royal Hunt Cup, all guns blazing. Dark 30, he just won't go on that. If there's any rain, softened ground at all, he hates it. You know, he kind of dislocates his palate and then he just stops dead. And that's exactly what happened at Epsom on Friday. And so he just put a line through that.
Okay. Mum's Tipple, I'm sure he'll pop
Mum's
up somewhere.
Tip, yeah. He'll turn up in the Wokingham. And I never get sick of watching him run. Sometimes I think, he's not going today. But on his going day, he'd beat anything. You know, he's a very, very talented horse, and if things that go right, they will go very quick for him at Ascot, and that will suit him. So he'd have a good chance of, you know, have a few quid each way on him.
Yeah. Witch Hunter, he's...
Witchy, yes. Yeah. He is going for the Queen Anne.
Really, yeah?
First race on the first day.
Yeah.
And William Stover, I said to him, that's good, Richard. He said we can get it all over and done with and then enjoy ourselves. It's quite right. He's been so good, that horse, to all of us, connected with him. And he ran a super race in the Lockinge, delighted, finished third. He's another one, better the race, the better he runs, but I think he has to have a straight track. Anytime we're running around a bend, it goes wrong. And, you know, he can run to 116 or 16. You know, it all depends on the day, but on a straight track, and you know he loves Ascot. He arrived there last year on the bridle in the Handicap and won very well. Jamie Spencer actually came out into the paddock. He said, do you know, my strike rate at Royal Ascot is worse than yours, Richard.
So
I said, only an idiot would come out and say that just before a race at Royal Ascot. The owners were laughing. Next thing he came back, it won. I said, looks like I got us both out of this, Jamie.
You should run in the Queen Anne and then go back for the Buckingham Palace a couple of days later.
Yeah, don't joke, it might be done.
He's £8 side of this year, so he might struggle, but there we go. So if we take out Rosalion in the St James's Palace, Hatram in the Jersey. Which is the other horse you're most looking forward to running, or think it's got?
I love the Actor. I think he's a very nice horse. Hawaiian's way better than he showed last time. Witch Hunter, just enjoy watching him run. You can't back him in a Queen Anne, but I just enjoy watching him race. Get a lot of pleasure out of him. And those horses quite often have a habit of outrunning their odds or exceeding expectations. Talus of Volvaire in the Hunt Cup, Mum's Tipple in the Wokingham, and Persica wherever we decide to go, a mile and a quarter, whether it's handicapping or a Group 3. He's a good horse, I think. Xanthe in the Queen Mary, she's a lovely filly and has grown up and looks a lot better than she did when she went to the races at Ascot.
You must have been pleased with the sort of what we are first third of the season, the
Yeah.
way the horse. You've had a real good sort of start to the campaign, haven't you?
Yeah, delighted with the Guineas horse. All, what you're looking for. We have 200 horses. A lot of trainers have 200 horses now, but you're looking for stars all the time. And when you find one, there's a big hole in your life that's filled. When they go, my God, it's a big hole. You realise that they leave. And, since the days of sort of Bilston Brook, these horses, they're rare jewels, rare gems, and hard to find. And delighted we look to have found a couple, and hopefully we've got a lot of nice 2-year-olds for later on. Hopefully.
Where are you at with your 2-year-olds at the minute? Are they just beginning to do a little bit more?
Yeah, I don't have the sharp sort of horses you would see at Ascot. I have some, but kind of the business and the sport's moved on from the emphasis on those 4 or 5 races at Royal Ascot in sort of mid-June. It's about, a lot of people say the good 2-year-old racing starts after Royal Ascot, and Coventry's always won by a Group 1 winner in waiting, like an extremely good horse. And so is the Albany, and the others to some extent. But we've got a lot of the Rosallions, the Sky Lanterns, the Havana Golds, the Toronados, the Dick Turpins, the
Camphor
Paco
Cliffs.
Boys. Delivery didn't say Camphor Cliffs because he's the only one that did go to Royal Ascot. All those horses I just mentioned, all Group 1 winners, and not one of them ran at Ascot at 2. Interesting. Don't you think?
Did Pedders Moon ever run at Ascot?
No, he never ran at Ascot. He won the Coronation Cup. Yeah. All those horses ran at Ascot. Some of them won at Ascot, but none of them went there at 2.
Yeah.
And I think that says a lot. You unearth those gems quite often after Ascot, and if they're not there before Ascot, don't go looking for them, because you won't magic them. You won't make them appear by just going looking for them. You just have to wait. That's all. We've got loads of nice 2-year-olds for later on. I'm not worried. You certainly shouldn't be. The Unibet fans, you'll be told in good time, don't worry.